Hi, welcome to my channel and happy Scorpio season. I felt called or asked to do a check-in today for all the signs in the spirit of Scorpio and all the themes that are coming up now in the Scorpio season. Scorpio is a fixed sign. So if you think of all the fixed signs in the zodiac, that's Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius. They kind of hold the grid of the zodiac wheel or balance out the grid of the zodiac wheel. That's what the fixed signs do. They bring in stability so that the mutable signs and the cardinal signs can flow within that energy, which is why you'll find that Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius are generally signs that don't like change or shift. Not that we don't like change or shift, but because we have fixed energy, it is harder to move, if that makes sense. And I say we because I am a Taurus sun. So what they were showing me, and this is so interesting because I've never seen it quite in this way before. What they were showing me and what actually happened is one of these bolts of my swivel chair came loose the other day, and it's one bolt out of 4 that kind of holds a square metal plate to the bottom of the chair so that the chair is able to stay fixed but also swivel. There's like a circular metal plate and then this square metal plate that kind of holds the chair in place so that it's able to swivel. And Scorpio, in Scorpio season, or when we are in one of the fixed sign seasons, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, but especially Scorpio being a water sign, in order for Scorpio to be in season and to flow and to create in the void and to navigate the thin veil that we are in at the moment, and I'll get into that a little bit later, they have to be able to flow. Their energy has to flow freely, and so they have to release some of that fixed energy in order to bring the rest of the zodiac, the lessons that Scorpio does bring from the depths of the abyss, which is why it's so intense when we enter into Scorpio season. And Taurus, you will feel this the most because you are the opposite sign to Scorpio. So if you think structurally, if Scorpio's bolt is now flowing, the Taurus bolt has to anchor that energy more than the Leo and Aquarius signs would. And this is just what they were showing me, which makes sense because Taurus is earth energy. So you need that earth energy to ground the energy of the water that Scorpio is taking us into. Phew. Okay, so that's what's coming up. The veil is also thin during Scorpio season, which means that we have access to, we always have access to other realms, but it's particularly intense and obvious in Scorpio season if you are intuitive, if you can feel energy in that way, because the veil becomes very thin between the earth realm and other realms, the spirit realm. There's no coincidence that Halloween is in Scorpio season. It's exactly that energy, and I just got a little bit dizzy. I'm finding that lately I really do have to ground my energy to be able to bring you these readings. Otherwise, I spend the rest of the day like not on earth, and it's a very strange feeling. And some of you might be experiencing this, which is why I'm being guided to share this. Is grounding right now is going to be very important for your energy. How you ground is, you can use essential oils like cedar oil, rosemary is very grounding. crystals like black tourmaline or smoky quartz, and this is why I have the big guns out here, my smoky quartz. Being in nature or having your bare feet on the soil, gardening, which is why I have some gardening planned for myself today, just so that I anchor and ground my own energy. That's going to be really important until the Scorpio season has passed. Okay, so signs, I'm going to go sign by sign and just check in with 3 of my decks with what is going on for you during this Scorpio season. So it is going to be a little bit of a longer reading, but please feel free to timestamp your sign in the comment section for the collective. Okay, so I'm using my Witches Tarot deck today. Let's see for Aries, starting off with Aries, the beginning of the zodiac, fire energy. Spirit, please and thank you for the signs of the zodiac, the Scorpio season. Please can you guide us with themes and messages, only messages of love and light. All negative energy, all entities, all spirits, anything that is not of the light must leave my space now and not return. So starting with Aries, Spirit, please and thank you. What are the key messages coming through for Aries collective for the Scorpio season? Let's see, Aries. Only jumpers. 2 of Swords energy. So some mental confusion, Aries, maybe indecision about something. The bottom of the deck, the Magician energy. So maybe finding it a little bit difficult right now to manifest into your space what is coming through. The 2 of Swords energy, and this could have been very prominent for you during the new moon in Scorpio. Swords energy is thinking energy, it's communication energy. She's blindfolded and she's crossing her heart with 2 swords there. So very guarded energy coming through here. The blindfold also keeps us blocked to our intuition, to our heart space, to anything that is coming through for us that allows us to flow and to make decisions. So Aries, I'm feeling like you are a little bit, or feeling a little bit stuck in making a decision, but it is 2 energy, so you will be able to come out of this. Why is the 2 of Swords here for Aries, please and thank you? Grounded energy. So maybe what you need to also do, Aries, is ground your energy, because I do feel, Aries, I've always said in the Aries readings, you are incredibly intuitive as well. So you could be feeling the Scorpio energy. This is the card of Capricorn, the Queen of Pentacles. It is a grounded energy. You might just need to take a step back and do the things that I was mentioning in the beginning to you, to just make sure that you're coming from a grounded place when you do make this decision, whatever this decision is or whatever this overthinking is about. Grounding our energy helps to neutralize and to look at things from different perspectives. The bottom of the deck, the King of Swords energy, so that will definitely bring you clarity if you are able to ground. What else here for Aries, Spirit, please and thank you for the season of Scorpio? Page of Pentacles. So one step at a time, Aries. What I'm getting is, as I was shuffling, is that there could be a lot of moments or memories or thoughts that are coming back to you from the past. So you could be going through different timelines and looking at different experiences, different situations in a new way. This can sometimes be quite intense, Aries, because we physically feel like all of those feelings that we experienced during that specific time or during whatever was happening at that time. And so what Spirit is saying is what you just need to do and remember is to deal with one moment at a time and not try to, and maybe this is why you're feeling the overwhelm and wanting to block what's actually going on for you right now, going into the depths. And this is what Scorpio season does. It takes us into the realms of the unconscious, of the subconscious, into the abyss. And sometimes it can feel as if we are drowning in that energy. And so what we would tend to do is block or try and anesthetize. There was such a beautiful meme that I saw this morning, or the last night actually, and it said that this year has felt like being awake during surgery. It's like this internal scream that wants to come out but can't. And you are completely consciously aware of this scream sitting inside of you and everything that's happening around you, but you're not able to express it. And so what we can tend to do with that energy is try and anesthetize it. And that's how we distract ourselves with whatever it is that we comfort ourselves with, different types of addictions and distractions that we use to comfort our energy when we feel overwhelmed and we feel like we need to anesthetize our mind. So what they are saying, Aries, is just to take it one thought, one moment, one experience, one step at a time, so that you are not feeling overwhelmed in this energy of what's coming through for you. Anything else for Aries? Anything else for Aries? Spirit, please and thank you. I am an Aries rising, so I can definitely relate. I've been feeling really exhausted lately with all the traveling back and forth. Spirit traveling. Strength, major arcana, card of Leo. So this is actually bringing you renewed strength, Aries, is being able to go into the moments where you might not have processed something at the time, going back there and kind of collecting your things, collecting your soul, because we can leave pieces of our soul in traumatic situations. And then coming back with a renewed sense of soul strength. This is not just physical strength. This is a sense of soul strength that you are regaining right now. Okay, Aries. I hope that resonated. Let's look at Taurus. Taurus, what is going on for Taurus in Scorpio season? And remember, Taurus, you will be feeling this quite intensely. Taurus, please and thank you. Page of Wands. 5 of Wands energy. So you could be surrounded by a lot of conflict. The Page of Wands is what came out for you, Taurus. It feels like a new beginning. It feels like new communication. It feels like childlike energy. So maybe, exploration is what I just heard. Exploration of the self is something that is coming to you at this time. Maybe finding out or exploring parts of yourself that you might have suppressed. This is Sagittarius energy, which is very much about exploration and fun and renewal of desire and creativity. So this is something that you could be looking at, Taurus, maybe trying something different. 8 of Wands flipped over. I'm only taking jumpers though, so that's another card of Sagittarius. You could be dealing with Sagittarian energy at this time. For Taurus, please and thank you, Spirit. Balance. So Justice, card of fairness, card of Libra, card of balance. Looking at things from a different perspective, seeing the reality of situations, looking at situations from an unbiased point of view. And this really is, and you see how she's looking at herself, almost, looking at her reflection and seeing a different side of herself. Different color hair, maybe a different look. And that's exactly the energy I was getting with this Taurus, is exploring different aspects of yourself and just trying to, not trying, as my spiritual coach will say, like, stop trying, Sarika. Wanting to explore the excitement of life again. I mean, look at me in my witch hat. This is not typically something I would do, although my daughter might disagree, and my friends will disagree. They all think that I am an extrovert. I am not actually an extrovert. I'm very much an introvert. But what I try to do is shift myself out of my comfort zone a little by doing just one small thing a day that makes me feel just a little bit uncomfortable, so that I don't stay stuck in fixed energy, and that I bring in or inject in that fire that my creativity and my ability to manifest needs. So you might be feeling this, Taurus, is trying to, explore different aspects of yourself here. And that's beautiful energy, especially during Scorpio season, because there's so much coming up for us right now, for the collective. But I'm sure especially, for Taurus, being the opposite sign to Scorpio, that if we don't approach it with a little bit of lightness and fun and a sense of humor, which is the Sagittarian energy, then we are going to drown in our overthinking and our tendency to be stubborn and to block whatever's coming up for us, Taurus. What else for Taurus, please and thank you, Spirit. Wow, look at that. Card of Scorpio, the Death card. Death and rebirth is a theme that is coming up for a lot of the signs. This is about rebirthing yourself, Taurus, and rewiring yourself. And you might even feel this physically in your body. Yesterday, in fact, I could not function. I felt extremely exhausted. I think you can still see it in my eyes today. I'm still feeling this energy of exhaustion, a slight fever, not having the energy to do anything. So I just deliberately took a day of rest. I could not even think about channeling energy. And what I realize is happening at the moment with my physical body as well is that there is some rewiring of my nervous system that is taking place. And this is the death and rebirth that I feel is or can be happening for some of you. For others, it is, literally death of ego, death of certain relationships, death of ways of being that no longer serve you on your path towards higher self, towards, being in alignment with your higher self, being in alignment with purpose, being in alignment with your calling. And that means everything in your life, Taurus. So there can't be one aspect of your life where this is not happening. It's a complete transformation, the Death card. And this is the Scorpio energy, a complete transformation of energy of what is going on in your space. Interesting, at the bottom of the deck is Two of Swords energy. So this energy can be very overwhelming, as we picked up for Aries. But the important thing, Taurus, is to stay grounded and stay focused. and allow the loss. I think the most painful thing about the death card and the transformation and the death of the ego is allowing the loss of previous versions of ourselves, allowing the grief to come in, because as Taurians, again, the fixed energy, we don't really like to change or shift in dramatic ways. And we are quite sentimental, and also we love material things. We love luxury, we love being grounded in that energy. And so when anything in that space changes, it can be disconcerting, it can be quite jarring for us to experience. So the transformation energy is really intense for everyone, and especially Taurus right now. So make sure that you are taking your rest, that you are not pushing yourself too hard, not distracting yourself either. Because the more we distract and anesthetize, the more we push down what is only going to come back again later. So we can't really escape what's going on here. But the letting go, that's the part of the change that is the hardest, for me at least. Anything else for Taurus, please, and thank you, Spirit. So the Seven of Wands energy, you could be feeling like, hermiting a little bit. Yeah, at the bottom of the deck that I just drew from is the Hanged Man, which is the Pisces energy, and that's the major arcana for taking a pause. So you could be feeling like just blocking your energy from other people at the moment, from situations at the moment, just protecting your energy, protecting your space, bubbling your energy, staying firm, staying grounded in your boundaries, staying grounded in your perspectives, Taurus, as you navigate this transformation. And it's important that we are able to do that, because external distractions can, pull us away from our healing and true healing. It can then facilitate our bypass of what's actually going on, because we are distracting ourselves with different things. And again, this is coming back to distractions, addictions, comforting things that keep us in previous versions and keep us in, previous timelines, wanting to stay there, not wanting to let go. So it's important that you bubble your energy and, preserve your energy, reserve your energy for this transformation that you are going through, Taurus. Cool, Taurus. Let's see, Gemini. Gemini, what is going on for you? Gemini. For the sign of Gemini, Spirit, please and thank you. High Priestess and the Queen of Wands. Wow, that's interesting. So High Priestess energy, card of Pisces, you could be experiencing a lot of downloads and tapping into your why can't I talk now, Gemini? Tapping into your intuition right now, Gemini. The High Priestess is the empath, the psychic, the intuitive of the deck, major arcana. She holds the feminine space for the High Priest to be able to manifest and heal and pray. She brings us insight. She brings us knowledge from other realms, knowledge from the divine. She is extremely knowledgeable in her craft. And this could be what's coming through for you, Gemini. At the bottom of this deck is the Queen of Wands, which is a very magnetic, fiery energy. That is the energy of Aries. So you could be dealing with an Aries. But it's also about igniting your sense of creativity again, is what I just heard. This could be looking at, why did I want to say things from a different perspective? Maybe that is what's coming through for you as well, Gemini. And being the twin energies, looking at things from, different sides of the coin from an unbiased point of view. You could be dealing with a Taurus, is what I just heard, because Taurus got that energy. My Venus is in Gemini. So what's interesting about that is I am very, very attracted to intellect, to charm, to wit. Most of my relationships have been with Geminis. I think there was only one relationship that wasn't with a Gemini, it was a Virgo. But most of my connections have been Gemini energy. And that just shows, how the Venus in Gemini, how my Venus in Gemini was working. Okay, let's see what else for Taurus, please and thank you. Not Taurus, Gemini. Judgment. So, card of Scorpio. The Scorpio energy is coming through very strongly today. Major Arcana card of Scorpio. This is the card of lessons, of integrating lessons. And I feel like with this High Priestess energy, so that's 2 major Arcana now for you, Gemini. With both of these energies, there are some very deep, intense lessons coming through for you. But they are divinely guided, so you are receiving divine guidance through these messages, whether you are meditating, praying, however you connect to Source, however you connect to Spirit and to God, is that's going to support you in going through this transition. I also feel like it is a transformation. It does feel like these life lessons are coming back around again and again with Scorpio, with the realm being, and the veil being very thin, as we then become open to different timelines, different realms, different lifetimes. At the bottom of the deck, the Sun energy. So that's beautiful energy for you, Gemini. It's the happiest energy in the deck, card of Leo. Major Arcana, it's about your inner child. It's about joyfulness, playfulness, courage, strength, being seen, being willing to be seen. What else for Gemini, please and thank you, Spirit? The Ace of Cups. Wow, this is beautiful energy, Gemini. New beginnings in love, self-love. The Aces are new beginnings. Cups is emotional energy. I feel like whatever this is that is coming through for you in terms of lessons, in terms of integration, could very much be working with your heart center. You could be having physical pain or feelings in the heart center as you go through this work. I know I experienced that on Sunday. Like a physical heartbreak. It felt like my heart was splitting in two. And because I have a strong placement in Gemini, that makes sense, which is why I'm sharing this with you. So this, allow it to happen. I know it can be scary, it can be intense, but it's opening up your heart center to be able to express love again and to be open to receiving love. I think that's a big thing, Geminis. Being able to receive is a big theme coming through as well as I entered Scorpio season. Receiving compliments, receiving anything that people have to offer without guilt, without a sense of obligation, without feeling like you are unworthy. At the bottom of this deck, burdens. So moving away from the burdens that, have been weighing on you for a long time, that feel heavy on your shoulders, Gemini, is what I feel is coming in for you with this intuition and these lessons that are being integrated right now. Last card for Gemini, please and thank you, Spirit. Two of Pentacles. So, you could be juggling two different things at the moment, Gemini. Looking at things from a different perspective. But you might have been in performance energy and needing validation or external validation, not being able to receive, wanting to be seen, but not being able to sustain that energy. And what I think is happening now is you're feeling the imbalance of trying to sustain an energy like this, to be in performance all of the time. You know, she's standing on rocky ground here. There's turbulent water behind her. Everything in this environment is indicating that this juggling act cannot continue for a very long time. What I just heard is rest. So you could be working very hard right now, Gemini, and the ability to receive rest is going to be really important for you. Also, as you receive downloads and as you are receiving these intuitive messages, you have to be in a space of rest and pause, and not in juggling energy to receive that openly and through a clear channel. So this can block your receiving channel, this kind of energy where you feel like you have to balance a lot of things. And I feel like that's the burden you've been feeling, is trying to balance many different things for a lot of different people, Gemini. Cool. So let's see what's going on for Cancer. I hope that resonated, Gemini. Please drop a comment if it did. Cancer, for Cancer, please and thank you for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and other strong placements for the Scorpio season. The Emperor, wow. Okay, Cancer, stepping into your divine masculine energy. The Emperor is the ultimate manifestation of the divine masculine. It is the four kings in one. It's being able to manifest. It's being able to build an empire. The Emperor builds empires. I feel power couple here. I just heard power couple as well, so that could resonate for some of you. This is fire energy, Cancer, so it may be something you're not used to unless you have strong fire placements. But I do feel like you're standing in your power here. You're elevating something here. It could be career, because this is masculine energy, so it could be work related, it could be career, it could be stepping in to take action with a love situation, but very grounded energy here with this Emperor. The ability to manifest, and manifest quickly. At the bottom of the deck, the Knight of Wands, card of Sagittarius. So more fire energy coming in here for you, Cancer. What else for Cancer? What else for Cancer, please and thank you? King of Wands. Fire. There's a lot of fire energy going on here. King of Wands, card of Leo. Very strong king, very courageous king, very charming king. Fixed energy. You could be dealing with a Leo. The shadow side of the Emperor and the King of Wands, though, is manipulation. So you could be experiencing or seeing the light of people, situations, things that may have been trying to manipulate you or control you in any way. That may be for some of you. But for the collective energy, what I'm sensing is your energy, Cancer, is coming out of its shell, to show the collective your charm, what you are capable of when you step into masculine energy, when you step into the energy of creation. Planting seeds is also what I just heard, Cancer. There could be some anxiety around this as well. That was at the bottom of the deck. Let's see what the light seers. Please and thank you. What is going on for my Cancer collective? Wow, this is bringing you complete emotional fulfillment, Cancer. You could be dealing with a Capricorn. I had Capricorn at the bottom of the deck. You don't have to be. But this energy, whatever this energy is in, is moving you towards your emotional fulfillment. This doesn't have to be, the perfect relationship, the happy home, the happy family. The Ten of Cups is about the ultimate emotional fulfillment for yourself. And that always has to come from within if it's going to be sustained, so that nothing in the external world can take it from us. It's when we attach to, the external definitions of what give us emotional fulfillment is when we feel the loss and when we feel unstable in our own emotional energy. And you are a water sign, Cancer, and a very sensitive water sign as well. Very nurturing. And I do feel like you're balancing with this Ten of Cups energy, you're balancing the masculine energy of creation with your feminine energy of nurturing and flowing. So it feels like a balance of masculine and feminine here that's bringing in your dreams, your desires, your manifestations, Cancer. See what else for Cancer, please, and thank you, Spirit. Whoa. That fell out. I'm not going to take it, but it was the 1111 card. So wishes coming true, wishes coming through, wishes coming true. Only jumpers, please, and thank you, Spirit. The Hanged Man. Card of Pisces, major arcana, Cancer. Also a water sign energy. This is about taking a pause, taking a step back, looking at things from a different perspective. And maybe also just spending some time, resting and doing things that bring you emotional joy. Spending time with family, nurturing others, where you feel that there is a sense of reciprocation. But this is more about, just taking a step back to look at things from a new perspective, Cancer. At the bottom of this deck is the Three of Wands, which is also a card of patience and waiting. And it's about, after you've manifested, after you've put forth your desires and you put action behind that. This is about waiting for your ships to come in. So you could be waiting for something to come in, maybe a response about something or an answer about something, Cancer, because of the work that you've been putting in with this masculine energy. And while you are waiting, the feeling that I'm getting is, use this time to rest. On the universe's schedule, this is your opportunity to rest and recoup your energy, especially after this intense period of fire, Cancer. Okay, let's see. For the sign of Leo, am I going to get through all the zodiacs in this one reading? Let's see. For the sign of Leo, and that's exactly the advice that I was giving to Cancer, is to recoup when you feel like you're putting in a lot of fire energy. And remember, fire, water, two opposite energies. So you need to balance that out with rest. So I think after Leo, I'm going to take a little grounding break. Leo, let's see. Spirit, please and thank you. What is going on for the sign of Leo, the Scorpio season? Healing, Leo, the bottom of the deck. 4 of Wands, 1111 card, wishes, healing. 4 of Swords energy, putting your swords down, taking a step back, allowing the healing to take place is what I'm feeling for you. Maybe coming out of some heartbreak, maybe just, and I get a lot of, this for a lot of the signs is this restorative energy that is needed right now. This year, energetically, has been intense. Excuse my French. energetically, it's a 9-year. It's a year of receiving. It's a year of big shifts. It's a year of major cycles ending. Every person I've spoken to has been going through intense life lessons. That's not easy going. And I feel like this year we haven't been able to hide. We haven't been able to distract and anesthetize like we normally do. It's becoming more and more obvious that these are the things that need to be healed in order for us to move forward. So the way the universe brings this in, or God or source, the way it comes in for us is we feel this discomfort, we feel this lack of peace, and we can't explain exactly why. And that's when we know that's how source reveals to us that we are not where we need to be. And it's a very difficult energy to stay in. So it's forcing a lot of us to shift out of that and to do the work to shift out of that. And that's intense work. Healing is intense. And that's why, you have to sometimes do it in stages, like we saw with Aries in the beginning. It cannot be done all at once. It's way too physically, emotionally, mentally intense on an earthly body, on the earthly embodiment. And so healing and rest is extremely important. Leo, especially with your fire energy and with your prominence in the outside world and, being seen, rest is particularly important. And being a fixed sign, to be able to hold the Scorpio energy, you are going to need to take this rest. What was at the bottom of the 1111 twin flame energy? What else for my Leos? Feeling a little bit stuck, Leo, feeling trapped. Not really trapped, because this is the card of self-imposed entrapment, or the illusion of entrapment. She's not actually caged. The swords are not, keeping her tightly bound. Her bindings are not even tightly bound. If she wanted to, she could free herself from this energy. But sometimes, and again, this is what I was saying at the beginning, or maybe in the Aries part, is that we want to stay in, and Leo being a fixed sign, you want to, we can have the tendency to want to stay in previous versions of ourselves and not want to move, because the move is so intense, because the shift is so intense, because the loss is so intense. Because as we shift and we move frequency, we lose everything that doesn't align with that. And that includes people. And sometimes people that we deeply love. And that is intense. So it's those versions of ourselves that want to say, no, don't move. Where are you going? Look at what you are losing. And it's about resting and healing so that we can remind those versions of ourselves why those people, those situations, those things did not work for us, and why it's okay to release ourselves from this.